Hey, what's up, Black Hollywood Live? Welcome to the Red Table Talk After Show. Chelsea Handler confronts white privilege. Keep it locked.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
Hey. Come on, light show. We keep forgetting about these lights.
Yeah, right.
What's up, y'all? What's up, Black Hollywood Live? Welcome to the Red Table Talk After Show. I am your man, Tyler Tyson, and I have some beautiful ladies joining me on this panel. Y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Wow, that was beautiful. I am Tyler Simone, so happy to be here again.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Jade Ming, and it is an honor to even be on here with two great people.
Oh, no, we're happy to have you. Listen,
Yes.
The show just got extra better. I don't even know if that's how you say it, but it's a better show. I feel complete now. You know, there are more
Right?
people on this panel. So on today's show, Chelsea Handler confronts white privilege. She joined the ladies on the Red Table Talk, and minus Willow, and they kind of had a nice conversation. What did you think of the overall episode?
I really liked it. I felt like Chelsea was really open and honest, and I love that they included clips from her documentary so we could actually see what all happened throughout the documentary. I thought it was a great episode. What do you think?
What do you think?
I personally, first of all, I like to say I love how everyone just feels so comfortable to speak in front of Jada and her mom, just because, you know, they can keep it 100% real, as well as, like, you know, especially with Chelsea being there, you know, the fact that Jada can even see a change in her is really big, first of all. Second of all, I just think that the fact that they can be honest with each other and speak to each other as adults, but yet get their point across without having to be like, this is that.
Absolutely. And on this episode, later on in this show, we're going to talk about Chelsea's run-in with the law. We're going to talk about how she even confronts her, acknowledging the fact that she's benefited from white privilege. And we're going to show you some clips from her documentary. So we're going to get to all of that a little bit later. Overall, I'm like you guys. I thought the show was fantastic. They have tackled white privilege a couple of times on this show. But I feel like not like this, though. Like, it was always from the point of view of Jada or Willow or Gammy, and then maybe like a therapist or somebody, but never, I mean, I hate to say it, someone like she said it perfectly, the poster child for white privilege. Like, absolutely. I love me some Chelsea Handler. But I think everything that she laid out in this episode of the Red Table Talk was 100% accurate on her rise to the top. So let's go ahead and jump into all of that. Let's talk about her life a little bit, because she brought it up. She was dating a guy named Tyshawn, and
Tyshawn.
Good old Ty. I think we all know a couple Tyshawns.
Some Tyshawn.
You know, if you don't have a Tyshawn in your life, you
gotta ends with Sean. You know what I mean?
Come on now.
Yes.
If you gotta have one or the other, either the Ty, so that's a Tyler, Tyrone, Tyrell, Tyshawn, like you got, or it gotta be the
It
Sean.
has to be.
Yeah,
It has to be two names in one.
Exactly.
Two names in one.
But she mentioned that there was a point in time when they were dating, that they got arrested, or they had gotten pulled over a few times, and they both had weed. Every single time Tyshawn got arrested, Chelsea got off.
Yeah.
Like, not even taken to jail or anything. Like, oh, ma'am, thank you, have a nice day.
Yeah. And she said that she thought that she got let off because of her good personality and because she was cute, which I think that's what a lot of white people think when they do get let off. They don't think deeper about it, and they don't consider the fact that it is white privilege.
Yeah. When it came to that, I was just very shocked, but not also at the same time not, because only because back then, maybe just because it wasn't as, you know, as far as white privilege and then what goes on when it comes to, you know, getting pulled over and stuff, it wasn't so not everyone was paying attention to it.
Right.
But nowadays, like, so many things are going on when cops pull over black people, and then when it comes to you know, when situations happen when it comes to white people, you know, when it comes to white people, they don't get you know, unfortunately shot or anything. But then, because you'll see many videos of them doing crazy things and nothing happens. But then when you see videos of people, I'm not saying like, because, you know, there are some things that certain things happen and where people get arrested, but it should never be crime to where gets to the point where police should shoot black people.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's part of the privilege that she was saying when she mentioned that, is that just something as simple as a traffic stop. Hey, man, hey, Tyler, your tail light is out. It should not end with the police pulling you over because your taillight is out to, okay, now, like Sarah Bland, she's mysteriously dead and we have no explanation for it. Whereas if it were a white person, that they don't even have that experience. Like Chelsea said, she literally would cuss the police out.
That's crazy.
As we talked on a previous show, when I was in high school, all of my friends, for the most part, were of other ethnicities, primarily white. And there were times when they were speeding or doing something stupid, got pulled over. I'm sitting in the backseat like, okay, here we go. And I'm thinking, okay, just take the ticket, whatever. I mean, he is cussing this police officer out. Police is doing nothing. Like, the police is apologizing to my friend. And I'm like, wow, I've never seen that. So,
It's like, maybe I should try it.
No. Oh, no.
We will not do that.
No,
I know better.
not.
And I think it's privilege to not be fearful of the police. Like, that is privilege in itself, is to know that if you do something wrong, you're fine. You will walk away unscathed. But for us, there's a fear. We don't feel comfortable. We don't feel safe. And that's something we deal with every single day.
Yeah.
So if you don't, then you have some sort of privilege for sure.
That's the part of what makes it privilege, that you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing, because even then, like, I personally just think, okay, is this okay for me to do this? Or is it okay for our friends if we, I predominantly hang out with Black people. So it's like, is it okay if I think ahead for my group of friends, because, I'm mixed, but they're fully Black.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's different. So I have to think ahead for them, just because I know how the world is.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy how our mentality, we have to think ahead, but yet they don't. And I feel like that's the biggest problem. And also Chelsea even mentioned in her documentary, she said, she was like, we can't have Black people speak for us. We have to actually speak on and defend defend ourselves, but talk on our own.
Right.
And that is true, because we're not going to understand you. We're just going to see black and white. That's it.
And I think it's important, because when you are, and this is not to always take it to a political space, but this is part of the issue with some of the horrible things that are going on in the country, and why people are so frustrated is because, not everyone that has benefited from white privilege is racist. Not everyone that supports Trump is racist. We know that. But when things happen and you say nothing, your silence means that you agree with what's happening. And so, to Chelsea's point, she's like, no, we have to acknowledge, yes, there is white privilege. Yes, we, being the white people, have benefited from white privilege. Does that make it right? No.
Yeah. And that's what Jada was saying. There's no shame in admitting that there's something wrong. But I think Chelsea was the one who said that the reason why they don't acknowledge it, they like to just ignore it, is because if they do acknowledge it, they then have to do something about it. And they don't want to lose that privilege that they have.
But it's like, you're not losing, but that's the crazy thing. You're not losing privilege, though. You're just making sure things are being equal. You're making sure that everyone is being treated as equal as you are. And that's the thing. Like, I feel like we have it's not even about, it's to the point where it is about color sometimes, but it's not even about that. It's about hierarchy. It's really about that, and who has power. And people don't like to lose that power. And white privilege, they don't want to lose that power.
And that's what, in the clip that we're actually about, this is the very first clip of the day that's a good, come on, that's an alley-oop right there.
Segue.
They kind of talk about that. So let's look at this clip from the Red Table Talk.
Privilege is non-existent.
So what we're filming is a documentary on white privilege to see if it exists or if it's a fantasy that people are just making up in their heads. What do you think?
I think it's something they're making up in their heads.
You don't think it exists?
No, I had the same privileges that the other guys had. And
What other guys?
Other guys, black, white, Hispanic,
Right.
I think everybody makes their own choices.
You were surprised about that?
I was surprised because,
Really?
yes, because privilege to a lot of people is related to money.
Yes, and that's the point that you were just saying, that people really feel like it's somehow attached to money. It has nothing to do with money at all.
And the reason why I feel like it is because majority of the white people are, or at least that we see, they have money. They come from wealth. They come from being able to not have to worry about struggle. And that's exactly what even Chelsea mentioned, struggle. They like to, it's okay to use the word struggle, but not, it's not okay to say that, that they have it harder.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she mentioned that the difference between having hard times and then struggling are two different things.
Things.
She said that she's had hard times in her life, but has she ever struggled to eat? Has she ever struggled to get a job? No. They're two very different things.
Yeah. And I think that, once again, we talk a lot on this show about using words accurately and understanding exactly what words mean.
Yes.
And to me, struggle is one of those words where it's so misused all the time, because we love to dramatize things up for social media, for all these different aspects. So we'll use a word in a setting, and it's not really the most accurate way to express a situation or describe a situation. What are you about to say?
Don't lose whatever thought you had. I just want to acknowledge someone in the chat.
What's up, chat room?
Well, say what's up to the chat room.
What's up, chat room?
This specific person, they deleted the comment, but they basically said they were jealous.
We are jealous of what?
Jealous of, I don't know. Please,
don't listen.
Elaborate on that.
This is a safe space.
Yeah.
Even if you're coming from a malicious standpoint, we still feel like it's a safe space, and you can say what you want. Like
talking red tabletop.
Yeah,
because
this might not be a red table, but it's still a table, and there's spots of red around, so it's still a safe place. Like any conversation is welcome here at this table.
And I think this is the problem. When you hear someone telling you about their situation and things that they've gone through, and to automatically shut it down
and dismiss it
and try and act like it doesn't exist.
Matter.
And it does. And he used the word delusional, which is absolutely 100% not true. This is happening in America right now, and it has been for a really long time.
Well, the sad part is it's probably a troll, because as I'm looking at this chat, I don't really see a picture. I just
no
see if there's
picture on
never
there.
a picture, so it's usually a troll. So it is what it is.
But listen,
Yeah, it
troll,
is.
I'm gonna need you to.
So another thing that I heard on this show, and that stood out to me, when Chelsea first started, she was talking about how she was going to therapy, and how she basically her therapist had given her an orange, and she realized that she hated men, and that all stemmed from her being angry that her brother
9 years old
passed away. Well, he had an unfortunate accident which killed him. And so basically she said that she found out that anger is a core for being in deep pain. And I was like, okay, well, if we adopt that and we accept that and it makes sense, then does that then justify why society likes to coin black women as the quote unquote angry black woman? Because if you think about just history and everything and the total poll of life, unfortunately, black women are at the bottom, unfortunately, based on how treatment. And so there's a lot of pain there. When they have been mistreated by everyone above them, black men included, then does that then justify why? Like, we should then be able to understand why this particular person might lash out in certain instances. It's not because she's angry, it's not because she's mean, it's because she's had to deal with a lot of pain. Is that a fair thing to say? Or what do you think about that?
What do you think?
It's okay to deal with the pain that you deal with. That is, it's okay to feel a certain way. But also at the same time, I don't think that it should also take over your life.
Yeah.
I don't think that it should make you bitter. You know what I mean? If anything, like, unfortunately, and this is what I realized about, when it comes to, like, black women, like, we do get so angry. We do, feel some type of way when it comes to, especially white privilege, and it comes to women, especially. Like, that's such a big deal, especially jobs. You know what I mean? And I understand completely, but I just feel like also at the same time, like, we cannot stoop to that level of ignorance. Because also at the same time, yes, we can be hurting. Yes, we can feel this way. But also at the same time, we're stooping to that level.
Right.
And we're trying to become better. We're trying to elevate rather than be on a level of hatred and whatnot. And so I feel like it personally is a lot to overcome in the beginning. But I don't think that, that should also be an excuse, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I didn't really see how the two connected because it was like half of the, not even half, maybe just a few minutes at the very beginning they talked about her and her childhood and how that made her an angry person. But then the white privilege is kind of like a totally different conversation.
I agree.
So I feel like...
It does feel like two completely different episodes.
Yeah, because unfortunately, like she mentioned, she's not the only person who's lost someone in their family. And it doesn't give you... it doesn't justify you being rude to other people, but us being upset about the way we've been treated all of our lives as Black women and our whole history and being angry about that, I feel like there is some justification there. And there's a reason for it. And yeah, I just kind of feel like they're different.
Something that's not on any of my cards and it's not on this board over here, but just popped into my brain was the point on the show where Chelsea said that she, for lack of a better word, got reprimanded for one of her Black friends had done something and she like slapped the girl on her behind. And it was like, I've never seen anyone, male or female, slap a Black woman on their behind ever in life. Ever in life. Except maybe like a WNBA game or something like but I've never seen it. And so one, has that ever happened? And then two, I do agree with what they said is with the fact that Black women have always been overly objectified and sexualized, like just on a fashion standpoint. I remember being in school, once again, this predominantly white school, white girls' shorts would be the coochie,
the coochie
everything. Literally. Black girls would have on shorts that were still longer than that, but they would be the ones that got in trouble.
Curves.
But it's still, but if we're going based on length and the whole thing was put your hands to your side, and if your fingertip and their fingertips didn't, why are they being the ones? Like, it's the same thing, but it's like when the white girl does it, it's fashion, and she's expressing herself. But when the Black girl does it, it's like a thing, which I never understood.
I feel like it also pertains of the Black woman's body as well. We're more, curvier. I feel like we have more features than, not saying like, everyone, but I'm saying like we have more features. So I feel like, yes, we could have the same length of clothes and whatnot, but also at the same time, like, it's how it looks on you as well. Because some people, like for instance, some women could have big breasts, but they try to conserve it, but they can't look conservative because they have big breasts. They can't. What are they supposed to do? Or women that have that are curvier on the bottom part. They have a body. They have thighs. They have that. They can't wear skirts nice or whatever like that. And so I feel like that's how they look at it. That's the difference of letting a white person wear shorts and letting a Black person wear shorts, because like you said, they over-sexualize women.
I feel like it's something about our skin. Like the color of, I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to say where I was working at the time, but I was working somewhere at the time. Know. And of course there are dress codes there. You don't want to look too revealing and everything, but I wore shorts one day, and my coworkers have worn shorts and skirts as well. And I made sure that my shorts were a good length, like they weren't too short, longer than I normally wear them.
Yes, come on. Catch her on a Saturday.
Yes, catch me on a Saturday. Right. And the people I work with have also worn shorts the same length, and I was kind of pulled aside and told that, like, be careful. You don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, and, your shorts are a little bit too short. But I just felt like, why is it that I can't wear the same things as they can? And I feel like it's the skin. It's like, it's the color, and it's the sexualization and the ideas that we've just had in our society has had.
It's crazy because, and we're going to get back to Chelsea in a minute, but it's crazy because just like we are about to get into the fact that a lot of times the things that occur in a white person's life, they're not thinking about white privilege in that moment. The reverse of that is when a Black girl puts on her shorts to go to school, to go to work, to go wherever she's going, she's not thinking in this moment, oh, I am sexy as F right now. She's just putting on shorts.
It's hot.
It's your mind that's going to the sexualization of this individual. So why if I'm not, but if I were the woman, why should I be the one to be reprimanded because you are having these thoughts in a workspace? That's not my fault. That's yours.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the same thing I
don't
thinking.
understand that double standard. So with Chelsea though, she did admit that she was the beneficiary of white privilege. She said that she just knows that there's no way that she would be where she is with her career if she were not white. There's no way that a black woman could go in and talk negatively about all of the celebrities, still have them come on her show. Like, the closest person I can kind of think of is Wendy Williams a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
But as much as I love me some Wendy Williams, you have to admit,
she still want to get away with it.
She only gets like maybe B plus tier celebrities that come through her show.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey's not stepping foot on her show. If Whitney Houston was alive, she would not be on her show. Jennifer Aniston, all of these A-listers are not coming on Wendy Williams. Whereas, they'll go on Chelsea, and they did. So, like she said, there's no way that she would have been E's #1 show with all of these guests and celebrities talking smack about everybody if she were black. Just not possible.
Yeah. But that's crazy how she even knows that. You know what I mean?
It's good that she's aware of
that
it.
is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Also, I was going to say, I feel like Wendy, she does it, but she gets slammed for it.
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's
people
it.
go in on her about it. With Chelsea, I don't know how much backlash she got from that show.
I don't think she's ever gotten any backlash, ever.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone be in an uproar about Chelsea Handler, ever.
And that's the thing. It's getting away with whatever you want. Whatever it is. You can say whatever and nobody will say anything about it. That's privilege as well.
Well, I also want to bring you this clip from Chelsea's documentary that they played on the Red Table Talk, and then we'll talk. So take a look.
What's your situation?
My take on the white privilege thing is, I mean, if we're going to say there's white privilege, then you would have to say that there's some form of privilege for any race or any gender, any religion. If you're an attractive woman, you have a privilege. I think there's all different kinds of privileges. I mean, I don't know if privilege is the right word.
Do you think black people have privilege?
In every race, like I said, in every
What
shape,
kind of
shape,
privilege do people of color get?
You get college admission now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait, there's
That's
more.
kind of a big one.
That's a big one, yeah.
A certain percentage have to be hired.
You think that's wrong?
Not that that's wrong, but to really feel like you need to hire someone based on their skin color, it seems wrong.
Isn't it kind of the right thing to do to say, hey, let's give people who we were oppressing for so long a little bit of a head start, a little bit of an opportunities, since we've all benefited from those opportunities. I know you don't think that you have. I definitely think I've benefited from the color of my skin. I don't think I would have gotten away with my career if I were a black girl.
Part of me thinks it's time to move on and knock it off and quit talking about it.
Okay, so the reason I wanted to play this clip was for a number of reasons. One, let's just be clear. So people love to paint California, especially SoCal, as this, so happy, everyone welcome, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
These are the same thoughts as, you go to Jackson, Mississippi, you hear the same thing. These people are in Orange County, California, which is right down the street. So let's be clear on that. And then also, there's so many things to unpack here. The first one was when the woman was like, they benefit now. And she's like, how do they benefit? They get to go to college now. Thank you very much that some of us get to go to college. That I think the thousands, well, not thousands, but the hundreds of years of slavery, the hundreds of years of Jim Crow and oppression, the hundreds of years of discrimination that's still going on today, all of that can be wiped away because we get to go to college. Yes, ma'am, you're right.
Right.
But even that, college is still hard. Did you ever, I don't know if you're aware of the situation that happened, I think last year or 2 years ago. It was a while back though. It was about UT, University of Texas. They were dealing with a situation with apparently like this girl didn't get admitted to the school and she didn't think it was fair. And so it struck something to where, a lot, like, I don't know if y'all are aware of Black Twitter, but
of course,
definitely Black Twitter was eating this girl up because she complained pretty much about how it wasn't fair how she got in. And I believe it was like, saying how it's not fair, how it's easier for people of color to get in because they're of color. And so that was a big, huge situation. And so the fact that she even mentioned college admission is so crazy to me, because no, if anything, like, we fought so hard to get to be able to go to college. Yeah. Am I wrong?
And it's not like you just woke up and said, oh yeah, y'all can go to college. There's so much that went into that. First of all, they had to start historically black colleges and universities because you wouldn't let us into the white schools like University of Florida, University of Alabama, all of the ones where the predominantly black students are playing football. Yeah. Those schools we couldn't get into. So then we had to create our own. Then they didn't like that. So then they started letting us come in after we forced our way through with the Brown versus the Board of Education and that Supreme Court thing. Like, it wasn't like you just woke up and said, oh yes, go to school now. Like, we had to fight for that. So where is the privilege? Yeah. Privilege means that this is just something that comes with the territory. This didn't come with the territory.
Yeah. And I think what she's referring to is the fact that now colleges are required to admit a certain percentage of black or minority students, but we wouldn't have to require a certain percentage if you just let us in to begin with.
But wait, here's the kicker though. Here is the kicker. And I wish this woman was sitting in front of me, because just as they have to admit a certain number of minority students due to affirmative action, hi, all of my white females that I love so much, hi, you benefit from that too.
Absolutely.
Like, that, do they not see that?
They don't think about that.
They don't.
They don't think about it at all.
They don't.
It's like and the only reason that it's there is because black people were being discriminated against, women were being discriminated, regardless of the color. Everyone was being discriminated against except white men. Right. So that's why affirmative action came into play in the first place.
Switched to where it just got worse. Like, you know what I mean? Like, first it was just for white men, and now it's for white men and white women. You know what I mean? It's just the way, it's like, it seems like slowly the rules of when it comes to that, it seems like it's starting to slowly change of what's accepting and what's not.
But go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say, the funny thing is, even with that, even with all of the privilege, even with the system being the way it is, Lori Loughlin, Felicity Huffman, you still had to cheat the system to get your daughters into college. Like, it's already, the game is already in your favor. Yeah. You're already wealthy, you're already celebrity, so you're famous, you're already all of these you're already white, you're all of these great things that give you 1,000 feet ahead of everyone else. Yeah. And you still have to cheat and corrupt the system to try to get in.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. I was just going to say, the thing about that was so frustrating when watching this specific clip was that, and they talked about it, not only is there no awareness, or they try and pretend like it doesn't exist, but they try and flip it. Yeah. So now it's like you're trying to make it seem like we're benefiting from this, and we're not at all. We never have. And it's a defense mechanism. Aside from not wanting to talk about it at all, they talk about it, but then now it's our fault.
They want to play like the victim almost.
Yeah. But it's like, notice this, like when you go to events, like when you ever go to like certain events and you see security or the people that are, guiding you, what are they predominantly?
Yeah. White.
Either not even that. They're predominantly either black or Hispanic. There is anyone but barely any white people that work the events. They're always the people that are in the front, but never the people that are wearing the yellow
Oh
vest.
yeah. I thought you meant like the security person.
I'm talking. No,
you're talking about just
the staff.
The
staff. Like, why is the staff predominantly black or predominantly Hispanic or Asian, but you don't see anybody like barely white, and yet you're saying, oh, we're not trying to hire someone because of their skin color. Okay, but it seems like that. Yeah. Because I don't see diversity.
Yeah. And the other thing, just to because I know we got to get into news and gossip, but that last lady that said something, it was like the thing that annoyed me the most about her comment when she was just like, "I knock it off already." It's like, I'm sorry. How is this hurting you again? Like, how, like, you are benefiting from everything that this world has to offer, and the fact that I'm expressing the fact that, oh, this isn't fair. Hey, don't forget about us over here. Literally. You want me to knock it off?
It's like, you knock it off,
right?
You stop being racist.
Like, as long as we deal with all the issues that we deal with, we will never knock it off, and we won't stop talking about it.
It's because of you that we can't knock it off.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. You're not helping.
Lighten this mood. Give me some news. I need something happy.
Okay. Let me pull out my notes.
Uh-oh. Yay. She was absent from the show, but this is Willow right here. But wait a minute.
She wasn't on today. But today for our Mr. and Mrs. Smith segment, it's
that.
all about Will. Will just celebrated his 51st
Yes.
birthday,
Yay.
and he looks so good.
So good.
Yes, 51 years young.
Crazy.
He turned 50. I know, right? He turned 51 on the 25th, so just a few days ago. He got a lot of birthday wishes. But Jaden posted this clip, a throwback clip from when he was in Pursuit of Happiness with his dad. Just take a look.
Oh my gosh.
Memories.
Young Jaden.
Hey. Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something.
Facts.
Not even me. All right?
Alright.
You got a dream, you got to protect it. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period.
I need to rewatch this.
Let's go.
Yes, come on and go get it.
One of the
Right.
most emotional scenes, I think, and there were plenty throughout this movie. But in the caption, I loved it because Jaden wrote that in the moment that they recorded this, Will told him that they were not acting in that moment, that they were just going to be reflecting real human emotion. So I feel like Will's been like that since Jaden was little.
Yeah,
He's
he
very
is.
honest.
Yes.
He's very
I
honest.
love
Not
that.
even that. He's just always been like
Real.
genuine and
Yes.
real. And he knows how to make people cry, no matter like what
No
genre
matter
the
what.
movie is. Have you seen I Am Legend?
That's my favorite movie.
When I tell you I've cried,
That's a good movie.
I've cried.
That is a good
Remember, I
movie.
cried on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when he was talking about his
Oh,
dad.
his
That episode.
Yeah, I saw that
And
scene.
to
I was
this
like,
day,
wow.
it still makes me cry. And
Yeah.
my dad and I can watch it together, and he's been in my life forever, and I still cry.
Still.
That's what I love about acting. Like
he's
you can
amazing.
always hit those moments.
Exactly. Let's move on to Jada. So Jada wished her husband a happy birthday and
Joker.
presented this beautiful video of a montage of clips of their family. Take a look.
I already love this.
Joker on TV?
Joker. And they know better than anyone.
We're in Italy, and this is where your eyebrows came from.
I just wanted to be as comfortable and as functional as
It's
possible.
functional. Those are your functional glasses.
Yeah.
She's been trained, so if a man attacks you,
No, let's not do this right now.
you don't get to decide when you're attacked, Willow.
Ow! Jaden, what are you doing all the way down there? Stand up.
Oh, you putting grease in grease.
Your hair is pretty though, bud.
It's not
Like a fine ass Tweety bird.
on the 11th day of Christmas.
I gotta love them.
11 lizards licking.
You still gotta be cute.
Will.
I stay cute, so I don't have to get cute.
Hey,
Right?
What?
Bravo.
She's like, I'm married to this.
We love our family troll.
Love it.
Don't be calling me Joker on TV.
I love that.
She wrote that I never considered you funny, but after many years, I finally get your humor. Thank you for teaching me how to laugh with you and how to laugh at myself.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful. And then Will posted this video. He said, in case you were wondering how my birthday party went, he was going off.
Yo, he went crazy. Why not though?
Hey. Yes, I love
Do you think they did Fresh
Yes.
Prince the song? They had to, right?
it. They have
Probably.
to.
to.
They probably did.
They had to.
Will also posted this photo. It's a piece of artwork promoting his new film Gemini Man. As you guys know, it comes out October 11th, and its caption, I feel like it spoke to me. It says, "You can spend a lot of time placing blame on others when you're the only one standing in your way."
Well, let me know.
Yes, right. Will always coming through with the quotes.
I love it.
Because
Yes.
he knows better.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
already dealt
absolutely.
with so much. Like, you know, he's been bankrupt. I mean, he's been bankrupt before.
Yeah, he's been broke
been
before.
Yeah, he's
through a
been
lot.
broke
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah.
very
That
humble.
concludes our Mr. and Mrs. Smith segment.
Oh, well, excuse me. Yay. I love it.
I love it too.
Oh, all right. So I guess we need to get into this special segment, which is our real talk. So what we do with the lights change, or am I going crazy?
Yes,
I think
they
did.
They are changing a little bit.
I'm just trying to make sure I'm not losing it.
No, you're not.
So with our real talk segment, that's usually where we kind of get a little personal. We tend to get personal on these shows, and we just kind of like somehow attach ourselves to the subject matter. So I don't really have a question for real talk, so I'm just gonna let it flow.
Okay.
So as far as white privilege is concerned, as far as everything that you saw on this episode, your real talk moment.
My real talk moment would be the clip, the last clip that we watched of the group of white women together talking about white privilege and how they feel about it. I would say all of the clips from her documentary, which really makes me want to watch it. But it's upsetting to see, but also I'm trying to be more open about trying to figure out why they feel the way that they do. And it just made me realize that it's just important to listen and to understand each other, because I feel like that's the problem, is there's a disconnect and nobody's listening and everyone's so upset all the time. And there's reason to be upset, but I feel like they need to listen for sure. So I would say my real talk moment is just being a fly on the wall in that conversation.
Okay.
I actually love that, honestly.
I love that also.
Like, let me take that. I'm just kidding. But I mean, if I can, like, just, you know, adding on to what you're saying, like, I truly, honestly agree, because, you know, I feel like we have, for many years, many years, we have just gone along, everyone, not even just, you know, at Black people, just each, like, race. I feel like we've all gone along with the same, you know, dance. And I feel like it's time to break that. Just because, you know, the world is, look, let's be honest. The economy is crashing, okay?
Yes.
Oh, it is
on
crashing.
Its way. Oh, yes.
Recycle, y'all.
Yeah.
But, and so with that being said, that just shows more and more that the world is slowly, like, ending. And it's like, why not let it end in a way where, like, we both understand each other? You know, I feel like we never really got a chance I feel like white people never really got a chance to understand Black people. And I feel like, you know, I'm not saying we have to an extent, like, you know what I mean? We can understand them, but, like, just instead of us always being so, like, you know, ready to fight, and like we should be more open as well, just as much as they need to be open as well. And I just feel like Chelsea, when it comes to that, she's showing that, you know, she's trying. And so, you know, I need all my fellow white people to try.
That's what she said. Yeah.
You know, I like, and you do, because you're right. Like you mentioned before, you said, you know, they don't, even if you're not racist or anything, if you're not doing anything, you're still playing along with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love that Chelsea is starting to be like, look, like, if you know that this isn't right, if you are an unproblematic white person,
right,
speak up.
Yeah.
You know, Ellen Pompeo stays speaking up. She stays speaking up.
And she's on a #1 show, making millions of dollars, and she still finds it necessary, because she can totally be isolated from all of these situations, but she's still just right is right, wrong is wrong. This is not a money issue. It's just what's the best way this is supposed to go.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, we're human.
Yes.
No, it's okay.
No. Yes.
At the end of the day, we're human.
Yeah.
I agree.
We have red blood. We came from, you know what I mean? Like, we came from the same, well, I don't know about y'all, but we came from the same Lord.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we're the same people.
Yeah, for me, so my takeaway with this real talk situation is that something that I have said probably on other shows, and I'm going to say it again, is that we need each other. Yes. All of the movements that took place in this country, from the women's movement to the abolishment of slavery to the end of segregation in the South, well, throughout the U.S., all of that took a collaborative effort. In order for us to combat any type of hate, in order for us to combat anything, we all have to work together.
Yeah.
And it's going to take uncomfortable conversations, but the interesting thing is no one should be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I was not a slave. You did not make me a slave. We should not be uncomfortable having a conversation about slavery.
Let's break our history and talk about it.
The whole point of history is to not get over it, as the woman said, and move on, but it's to learn so that we can move from it and not repeat the same things like we're doing right now. Like literally, we could go back to 1976 or 7, somewhere in there, wherever the whole Whitewater situation, Watergate happened with Nixon. It looks exactly like now. Like we're repeating the same stuff that we were going through the 60s and the 70s for equality is the same stuff we're going through now. The only difference is now we have social media, so it looks like there's more of it. It's the same thing. Like, let's learn, let's stop this, let's have a conversation. You understand not just Black people, but Asians and Hispanics and every minority group. But then also, like you said, we should also be at a place where we can see and listen to the other side, because it's, in order for there to be equality, that does not mean that the white race has to give up anything. You don't lose anything. So my point is, we're in this together. Let's just love each other and move on. Like, come on, people. So on that note, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it takes more energy hating each other than it does to just accept each other and move
listen
on.
and understand.
And it's not healthy.
So what is healthy though is that you can follow all of these panelists here on this show right here. So why don't you tell them, Jade, where they can find you on social media?
Okay. Well, y'all can find me on Instagram. My handle is MaiMing MAIMING official. So
spell it out.
Yes, come on, you gotta let the people know.
Sometimes you gotta.
I'm looking for followers now.
And you can follow me on Instagram at Miss Tyler Simone. What about you?
Of course, you can get your entire life following me on all social media at The Tyler Tyson. And we will see y'all right here next week for another episode of Red Table Talk After Show.
Yes. Bye.
Peace.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content, and be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your BHL host, Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom or at Black Hollywood Live. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.